Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another weekly episode where we look at some book covers, talk about what makes them work, and then offer a few ideas on maybe how to make them even better. And then we let you vote for your favorite in the link down below. Speaking of down below, we have all kinds of links down there that we'd like you to click. There's a bell button, a like button, a subscribe button. And most relevant is for me, your humble host, M.L.S. Weech. I am a independent self-published author of paranormal, science fiction, epic fantasy, all that kind of great stuff. And if you would click on my author link and see if any of my books interest you, I would really appreciate it. So the way this works is I look for 7 book covers, one for each day of the week, and then I show them to you, talk about it for a little bit, and then put a link down below for you to vote. After we do 4 of those, we put those 4 in a winner-take-all bracket for the month. And we're leading up to where we take each winner for each month and put them in the book cover of the year bracket. And we are 1 month away. That's right, folks. There is only 1 more month of covers to look through before we put all 12 winners in a winner-take-all bracket and then announce a winner. And then we kind of see where things go. So if you have been enjoying this, the best way to show your support is to generate more and more people, get those share buttons going and tweets and all those other random social media terms that don't make a whole lot of sense to me. So this is relevant because the reason we only have 1 month to go is we have the winner for the last week of February, which means you can vote for February's best book cover out of the whole month. Even though we're barely in February, it makes sense. We did 4 a week. I promise you can go back and watch. So we're going to name the winner for February, which will then allow you to vote for the February book cover of the month in the first link or one of the 2 links down below. And that winner is The Light That We Lost by Kalyn Stone. Yeah, Kalyn Stone. So this cover had obviously the light was interesting and intriguing. The landscape was good. I think I'm frozen. Pretty sure I'm frozen. There we go. So in case I was frozen for just a few seconds, don't worry, we're back. The winner is The Light That We Lost by Kalyn Stone. This had great color. The landscape was interesting. Dogs are cute. And the use of the text was well placed. What I noted from it when we looked at these covers last week is normally when you're thinking about Aurora Borealis, they run in the cooler color spectrum, your blues and your greens. Having that orange yellow light coming through is a nice strong color that helps contrast away from the title text. So big congratulations to Kalyn Stone and this book designer. It is the 4th and final entrant in the book cover of the month, and you can vote for February's book cover down below, and that allows us to start talking about the book covers for March. Again, I know that we barely started February, but when you do 1 book cover a week, sometimes they kind of get off kilter. So trust me on this. Things can start moving a little quicker than one would anticipate. But that doesn't mean that there aren't cool things to look at. So we're going to talk about the first cover right now, which is Legacy of Stars by J.N. Chaney and Perry Maggart, I believe is the first name. So the landscape is nice. The use of putting the sun behind the spacecraft is pretty interesting. I like the contrast here. I like the rural southern farm kind of thing with the futuristic spacecraft kind of thing. So I was just kind of pleasantly tickled by the contrast of the environment with the technology. That's the biggest thing. You got nice spot color with the figure on the nose of the aircraft. So it all kind of comes together well. I wish the barn was bigger, because when you look at the size of the person versus the size of the barn, I just wish that the barn was larger, so that you didn't have that bar going through the back of through the head of the subject. and it was more of a background element than a competing element, or at least I think so. That doesn't really change the quality of this cover at all. Those are just little things that bug me. The text is well chosen. The detail in the art is fantastic. So it's still a good cover. And if you like it, you can vote for it down below. The next cover we're going to talk about is the Starless Crown. On a personal note, I'm just really kind of amazed by this cover. It's not very dynamic. It's not like this epic battle scene. It's not like, you know, Michael Whelan painting. Michael Whelan is my favorite cover artist. But what you have is this nice backdrop. You have this well-executed silhouette. You have these wonderful contrasting circles at each frame, anything. It kind of creates, not a complete Venn diagram, but it kind of creates that area where the word crown is emphasized even among the title text. And normally, if someone were like verbalizing this idea to me, I'd be like, why would you separate elements of a title? It just kind of works. Everything about this cover just kind of comes together and works in a beautiful way. The composition is awesome. The detail is fantastic. The line art is interesting. The text is well placed. I'm a huge fan of this book by James Rowland, or at least the cover. I haven't read it. So I'm very impressed with it. And if you are, you can vote for it. And you know, you don't have to agree with me. It's fine. That's why I picked 7 of these. So the next book cover we're going to look at, once I'm finished moving around. Come on now, don't be cruel. Is a blaze of stars and dawn. And this is by Eve L. Mitchell. There's a part of me who thinks that's intentional, like Evil Mitchell, and a part of me that goes, maybe that's just coincidentally how it worked. If you know this author or you're familiar with him, I'd really be curious to know if you put it in the comments and let me know, like, if that was a play on words or not. I'm just, you know, curious. The detail of this line art and rendering metal is actually very hard. Photographing metal is actually more complex than it looks, because metal does very weird things to light. So when you take a object that you want to look metallic and you surround it by light and you render that, if you do it in a way that makes it look real and quality, like with good quality, where the metal isn't blown out by the light that you have going on, there aren't random shadows in places shadows shouldn't go, that is a good demonstration of talent. That is a great demonstration of skill. And so it's not an incredibly intricate design, but it's still a high quality design. You got your author text that's understated up above. You got your title text right where it goes. And then you have this central focal point in a design. It's very clean, very common. It's not breaking any ground here, but it's still well done round. It's still well done design. And I thought it deserved some recognition. Next cover we're going to talk about is another one that I personally think highly of. I think highly of all of these. I pick them. But this one, I think what does it for me is the color. It's called The Wild Hunt by Victoria A. Williams. And what interests me about this is the use of color on a muted landscape. The font is well chosen. The line art of the leaves and the deer head is well chosen. I'm looking in just to see, yep, the antler weaves in and around the title text, which gives it depth. Anytime you layer items and you weave them through, you know that my finger is weaving through everything else, because you see part of it above, part of it behind, and another part of it above. That technique, that trick, creates the illusion of depth, and that's what anyone who's working on a 2D medium wants to try to pull off. The stag, I assume, is very well rendered. So just good color, good line art, pleasing arrangement of visual elements, and thus overall solid cover. The next one we're going to look at is a very different cover. When I saw it, I go, wow, that's different. And then my next immediate thought was, I guess I should pick it. It's Speakeasy Times by M.W. McLeod or McLeod. I don't necessarily know how to pronounce it. Please don't be offended if you are a fan or the author yourself. I am just trying my best here. So I love it because I originally cut my chops working for journalism in the Navy. And I know what it is to have to do a newsletter page or a newspaper layout. So just that feel of it, that interaction of tone and style, it really checked a lot of boxes for me personally. So if you don't have those same kind of feelings, I can't necessarily disagree with you. The other thing that was interesting to me is you have this sepia newspaper, this old-timey newspaper, and this old-timey hat. But the color and art style is very, very distinctive, and it looks different in a time sense. It's more modern art, more modern style, contrasted with classic newspaper layout and design. You got these huge columns. You don't even have any photos right now. So it just seems, I hope it's intentional, but it definitely draws your eye. Some people are not going to like that contrast. They're going to want an art style that is more familiar to the period style of the newspaper print. And I won't necessarily argue with them. So if you don't like it for that reason, I got no beef. I see it. I get it. I'm not mad. But I'm drawn to that contrast, which might be what the artist was going to in and of itself. Regardless, if you don't like it, you don't have to vote for it. It's okay. Next cover we're going to look at is Annihilation by Kalyn Mcfarren. And as I'm bringing it up, honestly, there's one reason this guy's on here. That fire face figure is epic and awesome. Look, the silhouette isn't a bad idea, but those legs and feet, they just disappear in the rest of the element. You got framing, so there's no knock on that. The text is barely legible, and it's kind of a lazy font choice. I am of the opinion, because usually when I see this, what happens is you hired a designer who did a pretty nice job, and then you slap text on top of it and uploaded it to Amazon. That doesn't do the artist any credit. It kind of hurts what they're doing. So even if you're buying art or commissioning someone to put art there and then you're adding text, one, when you're designing it, consider where the text will go. And with this design, really, I would have put it in the rest of that blackness just below the frame of it, but just plan for it and place it there so you don't undercut the quality of the art. But when you look through the text and you ignore the issue with the composition of the silhouette, then you see this really cool face alien of fire kind of deal. And at the end of the day, sometimes people look at a cover and go, wow, that's pretty cool. I wonder what that is. And they pick it up and they read it and they give it a chance. And if you like it, you can vote for it. Heck, you can go into Amazon and search that term and pick it up and give it a shot and let me know what you think of it. So I think this cover has some problems, but it's still a good artistic piece. The last one we're going to look at is The Deception Fleet by Daniel Gibbs and Steve Raza. At least I hope that's right. I've spoken about this a few times. I have a general beef with series, especially sci-fi series. I don't know if the name of this is Ecliptic Flight or if the name of this is Deception Fleet. And I don't know if the name of the series is Ecliptic Flight or if the name of the series is Deception Fleet, because no one is ever consistent with how they arrange their text. It's just a really big pet peeve with me. But at the end of the day, there's the cover. It's an awesome rendering of a spaceship in a really, really dynamic planetscape. And I just got to be honest, like, I'm jealous of this artist. There's so much going on. The composition is so dynamic. All the rendering, maintaining the color and the transition from the color, lighting the ship in ways that feel realistic, regardless of what the background is doing. All of those little things just really, really sing. So if you're a fan of sci-fi and you want to support this cover, I have no argument with you. I'm very, very enamored with this craft and with the detail of those planets. I also look at it and be like, wow, if those things are colliding, then maybe things aren't going so well for these guys. I don't necessarily know from looking at, I think that these objects are colliding in space and the ship is near that in space. That's the inference I make. But it's really, really quality 3D rendering, and whoever designed this, like, super mega thumbs up, great job. What that means is for the next 2 weeks, there are going to be two links down in the description. There's going to be the one for the February book cover of the month, which will be cover number 11. And then the other link will be those covers that you can pick your favorite of in that poll. So you sign into Google, you click the link, you pick your favorite. It's that easy. Done, sir, done. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me and looking at some book covers. And please remember to look below, vote below, and click every other thing that's on there, because that makes, babies happy when they're hungry, and various other things. So thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. And as always, God be with you. Bye now.